Right. Edwin, Anthony here from Resolution Design, making an updated video. As far as how to get these products to show up. I've made a part one in this video, and it was like for 5 minutes long. And I've noticed that a lot of people do appreciate the video, but there are some people who are still getting stuck. And so this is the 2022 version of the video, okay, where I'm going to go more in depth on how to solve this problem, because I see a lot of the comments saying, hey, I tried what you're saying, but it's still not working for me. So let's get more granular. What we're going to solve in this video is the draft situation on status, right? We noticed that there's some products that will show up on the store, but then there's others that do not show up on the store. Again, we're not asking for money or anything like that. The only thing we ask is to demolish that blue like button. Just make it turn blue or white, whatever it is. Just make it solid. Demolish that like button if you appreciate this type of video. And also, if you like all Shopify related contents, let me know on the comments what you want to see. Okay, let's begin right away. So again, I'm going to go here on this demo store with Turbo, which I'll leave also in the description. And we have this one particular product, for example, called Area Bra Top, that if we go right here into the website, let me just kind of like do a refresh, and I go to women's apparel tops, it won't show up here, right? It's just to remind you guys, we're talking about the Area Bra Top, right? And we go over here, we'll notice that it is not here. Okay, and this is going to be the checking point. We're going to be refreshing this page over and over again until it comes out. So before we begin, let's just prepare on a few tabs here. You guys notice that I have several tabs going on. There's numerous tabs going on here in this presentation. So the tab that I have here, this page, inside of where it says on the admin, I click on all products. So click on all products, or first click on products. Let's start from over here. You guys should be familiar with this page. Click right here where it says products, and then you're going to see this right here, okay? So the first spot check that we're going to do is to make sure that your inventory is not tracked. By default, when you start a Shopify store, okay, there are certain settings that Shopify brings over by default that makes this whole thing crazy, right? And one of them is that Shopify controls the inventory. What that means is that every product that you have will start off as zero inventory, as if it's sold out, when in reality it's not. Okay, so one thing I want you to guys do before we get started is let's go ahead and click on this select all box right here, and you'll see that it says 50 selected. Some of you guys might have less than 50 products installed in your store, but for those who are watching that have over 50 products, make sure you remember to click on this guy right here to select all 50. The reason for that is because when I click on this one, you'll notice that this stops here and there's more. That's why there's the next page, right? That means that it only selected 50. So instead, I want you guys to click on this link right here, and right there it'll say all 50 plus products in your store have been selected. So don't forget to do that part, guys, okay? Make sure that you select all. Once you do this, go to the bulk editor right here where it says edit products. Click on edit products, and we're going to go into a version of Shopify that you guys might not be familiar with, but it almost looks like Microsoft Excel. And this is called the bulk editor. Okay, it's almost like Microsoft Excel. So you're going to see some columns here that we never asked for, because again, it's just something that pops up as default. If you see a whole bunch, try to minimize this so that this page can load up quickly. If you have too many columns going on, your internet speed and all that, it could load very slowly. All right, so we don't need compare price for this. What we're looking to do is add a field, because we need to see something. And what we need to see is inventory. And right here, we're looking for this one, track quantity. Click on that one so that you could enable that column. And you might be seeing something on your screen that says this: Shopify tracks this product's inventory. Okay. And if that's the case, what I want you to do is click on the first one to select the first one, scroll all the way down, hopefully until you reach the last one. And you might have to do this page per page. Press and hold the shift button. Okay. And click on the last product so that you can see we have selected a range. You saw that? I'm going to say that one more time, guys, because I don't want to lose everybody. Remember, everybody who's watching, you guys all have different skill set levels that are different. So I'm just going to pretend that you're very new to this, okay? So I'm going to click on the first one. If you have Shopify tracks products in this inventory across the board, click on the first one first, scroll all the way down, then press and hold the shift button, and then click on the last one so that you select the range. Once you do that, let's go ahead back to the first one. I let go of the shift button, by the way, at this point, and I click on this drop down and I press don't track inventory. What that's going to do is it's going to change every one of these guys to don't track inventory. And then you're going to see all these freckles right here, all these dots. You see all these dots? All these dots, what it means is that I have made a change, but I haven't saved it yet. And I have to press save, and then you're going to see Shopify just start tackling all one by one. So let's go ahead and press save on that. You see what it's doing? See that? So make sure that you do this for all of your products. Okay, guys? And we're just going to let this finish for example purposes. You'll notice that it just does everything in one shot. The bulk editor is pretty good, but it doesn't allow you to change a lot of things, such as like sizes and stuff, but it allows you to change prices. I'm not sure if it allows you to change inventory. It probably allows you to do that too. Okay, there you go. That's done there. All right, cool. Now let's go back. All right, so we're back here. All inventory is not tracked. Okay, that's the first step. The next step is pay attention to the status column. Okay, more than likely, if you're doing this for the first time, by default, when you add a product, it might be set as a draft. We need to change it from draft to active. That's very important. So let's go ahead here and select those that are not active. In your case, it might be every one of them. So do the same thing where you kind of like select all, select plus 50, and then do the next action that I'm going to show you. In this case, it's just these three guys, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to change this to online store. Well, let's see if this action helps us here. More actions, okay? More actions, and then add available channels. No, excuse me, set as active. This one, the first one, set as active. We're going to go here and set as active right there. Okay. So it's going to take a little bit. Boom. All right. So we have all these green pills. Okay. So that's the second step, or the third. I'm not sure where am I, third or so, whatever. Okay. Now that we are here, this could have solved your issue. Okay. You might be done with this video. Maybe. Right? I want to say a good 60% of you are done. You might have solved this problem. So go ahead and press pause on this video and go to the front end of your store. Press refresh on the collection where you want that product to show up and try to see if it shows up. In my case, it does not on purpose. On purpose, it does not, because I also want to help those that have a different problem in this video. That's why I'm making this second part 2 video. Okay, so if your problem is solved and you find it in your collections, please go ahead and push that like button. If it still doesn't show up, please continue watching this video because you have to do extra steps. Remember, everybody's store is different. The solution is not one size fits all. Okay, so depending on how your store is set up, you might have solved this problem over here. Okay, guys? All right, let's go back. So now that we are here, let's go ahead and open several tabs. So we're going to go right here back to all products. Okay. And you notice that I have one tab. I welcome you guys to open a second tab called collections. Okay. And in this page, we're going to see everything that's in collections. So right here, I see products. Right here, I see collections. Open up another tab. And this one is going to be for your navigation. And the way that you get here, guys, is that you start from the home. Make sure that you open a third tab, by the way. Go over here where it says online store, click on navigation. All right. And let's just hold our spot there. And then my fourth tab is just the collections here. I like to have all these tabs open so that I could quickly go back and forth without doing a whole bunch of pagination and all that stuff. Okay. All right. Now that we're here, guys, I have to remind you about something. All right. So let me remind you about our homepage. In our homepage, we have a series called New to Shopify. And these are the most important videos for all of you guys that are starting out. So what I'm about to explain to you is just very high level, but if you want to go in depth as how I go through these steps, just make sure that you watch part 1, part 2, and part 3 in that sequential order, because I talk about how to add products, how to add them into collections, and how to configure your main menu system. But anyways, let's just pretend that you kind of know this, and I'm just going to do a high level overview, okay? So you have your products installed. We go to collections, okay? Make sure that you have your collections already configured. In our case, we have created several automatic collections or conditional collections. Conditional collections, I talk about this in my part 2 video, okay? It's collections that are automatic, meaning that when I go inside this collection, I am not manually adding the products in here. Instead, it's following a rule, which is, hey, go through all the products, and any products that have a product tag equal to tops/women, automatically add them here. And the reason why I like to have automatic collections is because it prevents human error. Like, it prevents you from, forgetting, or, oh, I added all the products, but I forgot one. I like to do automatic collections like this because it's automatic, right? And it only depends on you having a tag set up to the product. So in this particular case, this is the collection that we want the product to live in. It's called Tops Women, right? And that's exactly where we are here. Okay, but the product has to have the tag Tops/women. We're going to go back into this. By the way, what I just did right now is I triple clicked on this and I press copy. All right, now I'm going back to the product, and let's go into Aria Bra Top. We're going to go back to this product here, but now we're entering into the product details. And so I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to focus on this area right here called tags. And I'm going to add my tag. The reason I'm adding the tag is so that it shows up in the collection. Okay. Now you notice that it says product saved. And right here in collections, it just says women's apparel. Sometimes Shopify needs another refresh in order to take into account what I've just done. And so what I was expecting is for this product not only to show up on this collection, but to also show up in the Tops-Women's collection. I noticed that even after I have the tag set up here, it's not showing up in my automatic collections here. So what I'm going to do is press refresh, because again, Shopify servers sometimes need that little extra push in order to remind them, hey, I set up another collection. And there you have it. You saw what just happened. So previously, even though I had this tag saved, this did not show up. Now that I press refresh, it showed up. And that's what I mean, guys. Make sure that you watch this video, because I go really in depth as far as how to make those collections, manual collections versus automatic collections. All right, so let's go back here and let's press refresh on the storefront to see if, there it is. Look, here it's showing up. So this is just proof to you guys that sometimes we just need to go a little bit deeper and troubleshoot a few more things just to make sure that they are in fact showing up in the collection. So I would assume that a good 25% of you guys might have solved your problem at this phase. And if it did, all I ask again is for that blue thumbs up. But hold the phone, wait. There's a good percentage of you guys that are still stuck and it's still not showing up. Stay watching, please. I'm going to solve your problem, okay? Stay watching. All right, so now for those that still it's not showing up, I'm back in the collections tab, okay? I need to ask you to troubleshoot something. First, does inside of this missing product that you're going through, if you scroll down to where it says collections here, right? So let's start from the top. If the product that you have in question is still missing, click on the product. Focus over here where it says collections. Does the collection where you're expecting it to show up come out here? If not, one or two problems is going on. Number one, is this collection that you're talking about, is it a manual collection or an automatic collection? Again, I talk about that over here in my part 2. Okay? So back to the question. Is your collection or the collection that you're having problems with, is it an automatic collection or is it a manual collection? An automatic collection is when you see this. A manual collection is when it comes out blank. when you click inside here, if it is a manual collection, let's pretend that your collection that you're having problems with is when you come to collections, it shows blank right here. Then dive in, go inside of this collection, okay? Scroll down, press browse, find that product and add it there and press save. Once it shows up here, I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on right here and click done, and it should save automatically. And let's just move this all the way to the top. Okay? Once you see it here, go up to the top and look at this button right here, view. Click on this. All right? And you could see that it shows up. Okay? So that solves half of your problem. Not 100%, because you're wondering, well, why is it that my main menu system, it doesn't show up? When I click on my main menu, I still don't see it. If you're going through that, now it's not a collections problem. It's a navigation problem that you're having. Okay? But the reason why I told you to check your collection is to first make sure that the collection is working. Make sure that the product is in fact added into your collection. And what I just showed you right now, and how I did that, was that I clicked inside of a manual collection and I physically added it in there. And then I cross-checked to make sure that it's working. Let's pretend that you don't have a manual collection and you're having issues with a collection that has a condition. If so, please make sure that whatever the condition is, okay, you have to triple click copy and then go back inside of the product and make sure that you add the tag that meets that condition. Once you've done so, press refresh here on the back end and make sure that the product shows up. And then do the same thing. Go ahead and click on view and test it out. And you're like, okay, it's there. I see it in my collection. But my new problem is that when I go to my store, I still just can't find it when I click on this. Now, this is where I solve your problem here, okay? Let's go. Remember when I told you to have another one that's called navigation? So that's, when I talk about navigation, that's the part 3, okay? And the theme that I'm showing you guys is turbo. So it's a little bit sophisticated, the turbo, and how I have this selection here going on. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because I have a mega menu system. So for those that are trying to troubleshoot this problem on the turbo theme, please make sure you watch my turbo series, the part 1, part 2s, and part 3s. I believe between part 1 and part 2, I talk about how to configure the mega menu. So make sure that you watch that video. We're going to go back over here to navigation. In navigation, what I'm looking for is what is connected to this guy right here, because this is the collection that I'm targeting. Okay, I'm targeting this collection. I'm trying to look for it in the navigations menu. And in my case, it's located over here. Let's see. So it's not under main menu. It's under women's apparel, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So let's go over here to women's apparel. All right. Women's tops is the one that I'm talking about. So I'm going to go click on here where it says edit. And I have to make sure that it's connected to that exact collection that I was referring to. In this case, it's tops women. So over here, I have to make sure that it's linking to that. And just to triple check, I'm going to exit out of that. I'm going to click on this link here. I'm going to select collections. And I'm going to look for, there you go, there it is. And press apply changes. And don't forget to press save. Once you have done this, let's go back into the front end and press refresh. Remember, guys, whatever you do on the back end, you always have to come here on the front end and press refresh. It's not going to just show up. So always remember, any changes that you do in the admin, we call this the back end here, okay? In the admin, you come over here and you press refresh so that the front end updates against the back end, okay? Now go and test it out and see if it's there. Okay? All right. Now, if you don't have Turbo, the menu system should be much easier for you. It should be more simple. But again, I don't want to assume what theme you guys are using. In this case, we're using Turbo. We love Turbo. Turbo is very complete. Okay? And I'll leave the link down below just in case. But if your menu is very simple, then I suggest you watch the part 3, which is this one, the drop-down menu system. If you're not using Turbo, you're using like something else. If you're using Impulse, guys, for those of you using Impulse, I believe it's in part 2 or part 3. It's one of these two guys. Okay? And then I also, if you're using Flex, I did part 1 and part 2. So for those who want part 3, you guys got to let me know. Otherwise, I'll just do other things for you guys, okay? Let's pretend that out of everything, nothing worked. If none of this stuff worked, then you have another problem. And this other problem, it has to do with something that's conflicting with your Shopify store. I would suggest one of two things, okay? You could either try to contact Shopify support, which sometimes could be tedious. I think I also have another video on how to contact Shopify support, okay? So make sure that you check it out, check that video out, how to contact Shopify support. That's one of them. Or what you could do is that you could contact the theme developer. Mind you guys, the theme developer, what I mean by that is that if your theme has not been touched by a freelancer or some other person or has been sold to you that has, and you need to make sure that it's not customized is what I'm trying to tell you. Make sure that it's out of the box, meaning that it's a theme, no custom coding has been added, okay? Therefore, contact the theme developer. And how do you do that? Let me show you. We're going to go right here to where it says customize, right? So let's go to customize to enter into the customize theme and click on these 3 dots right here and it'll tell you who the developers are. So it's designed and supported by Out of the Sandbox. Go ahead and get support. Create a ticket and tell them your situation. Okay? So one or two ways, you could either go through Shopify support or you could contact the theme developers. Now, if I was in your shoes, who responds the fastest? Shopify support typically does, but sometimes Shopify support, they try to help you and they'll get stuck and they'll be like, oh, contact the theme developer. We can't help you. Because in theory, Shopify helps you for everything related to the back end, but they could only do so much is what I'm trying to say. So the only disadvantage by contacting the theme developer is that sometimes they take a while to respond back. And I think the people from Out of the Sandbox, you have to pay a premium in order to get that special support. Well, I hope that this information helped everyone. I know that this is not a one-size-fits-all problem. Depending on how your store's set up, you might have more complications set up on your store, and therefore trying to solve this problem is not a walk in the park. But the way that I've explained all different scenarios here, that should cover at least 80% of you folks who are watching. Again, the only thing I ask you is to demolish that blue like button and also go ahead and press subscribe and leave me down in the comments. Let me know if there's something specific. If you have a problem, guys, in order for me to help you in the comments, say, hey, Edwin, right here in the minute mark, 14.57, you said so-and-so, I got stuck there. Say, Edwin, I got stuck at the 11-minute mark. You have to be very specific so that I could come back to the video, find out where you got stuck at, and give you the right advice. But if you ask me a question in the comments that's very generic, it's kind of hard to understand exactly at what point of the video did you get stuck at. So please remember to mention if you need help on where you got stuck at what minute mark did you get stuck, so that I could go ahead and respond to you at the comments. Thank you once again, guys. Happy holidays, happy New Year's, happy all of that. And I hope that you get a lot of money. Take care.